during. Caleb Williams. ESPN reporter came out and said Caleb Williams, I don't know, something about he might not succeed because he hasn't faced adversity. What do you think? Do you think Caleb Williams has faced adversity in sports? Like not the textbook definition of adversity, but like when we talk about diversity, I'm hilarious.
Diversity is different.
Diversity, sure, plenty of that. When we talk about adversity,
yes.
Has he faced it?
Well, if we're gonna ask, I don't have a direct answer for that. But if we're gonna ask that question, what's the benchmark? Have we ever asked that question for anybody else? Like, are we gonna take Jane Daniels and go, hey, you might be the second pick in the draft. Have you faced adversity? Or did you just have a decent career at LSU?
See, okay, I think this...
It's like, I know we rag on Caleb Williams. I don't know how adversity kind of rolls into this.
The same way that, like, okay, the same way when you talk about, like, an NFL player that might not be so good. He might not be that good at football compared to other NFL football players.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say, like, compared to other football players, might not be that good. Mm-hmm. So in terms of on average, what an NFL player might consider adversity, that's what I'm looking at is like, have you faced that? And to be honest with you, I don't know what that is, what the average amount of adversity really is.
I mean, I know I'm not trying to defend him.
No, I'm not. Defend what you want. I'm do it.
I know he's talked his game. He's talked his shit. He's done his things, whatever. He also released that tweet, which was honestly terrible for his case.
We're going to talk about it. That's
or Instagram or whatever the hell that was.
That's why we're here.
But I think any form of being a college athlete at that level, playing in a top tier program, is kind of adverse. It's not easy.
But that's the same.
But there's a lot of guys who have played college ball who have not faced the same scrutiny. There are a lot of guys who have had worse careers in college who have been praised higher.
Like that to me, though.
It's like Max Duggan or Bo Nix. Bo Nix has played college football for 6 years.
Saying that
who talks shit about him?
Saying that a college football player faces adversity because he's a college football player, to me, is like saying a college football player is good enough to play football because he's a college football player. It's like, yeah.
I'm not saying that because he plays college football, it's adversity. I'm saying, how is his situation different, and how is someone else's situation more adverse than Caleb Williams? Like, what would make Michael Penix's situation?
I'm not saying there's a bunch of examples of people who have faced more adversity. It's just the lack thereof.
Sure.
I don't know how much adversity there really is. Caleb gave us a list. He gave us a list of his adversity.
Now, this is where my problem is. Also, just to cut you off real quick, saw a list. Tim Tebow was atop the list of most loved college football players.
Of course.
I thought it was hate, but it's love.
I mean, me personally,
there's both.
I have heard a lot. I've heard the worst things people could say about Tim Tebow. So I would like this. I'd like to believe he could be the most loved.
But the list I saw, but you can't be loved without being hated.
You can't be loved without being hated. But he gave us a list.
I don't know what that means. That got weird. The fuck does that even mean?
But okay.
My dog loves me.
Caleb Williams, he said him popping his hammy and then losing a championship game was facing adversity.
Also, he stayed in the game.
him not starting his freshman year.
But no, he finished the Utah game.
Devin, he didn't start his freshman year.
Doc, he wrote "fuck Utah" on his fingernails. You can't say that and then go and get blown out 54-14 or whatever the fuck it was.
Bro, he said him not starting in college his freshman year was adversity.
Dude, you're at USC.
That's like saying for any college freshman, they're facing like the most adversity. No, you know what's more adversity? Being a fucking starter as a freshman. That's probably like way more adversity.
That's harder, yes.
Oh, and then he went 7-5 last year.
Yeah, no, that's called being bad.
So
like that's not adversity.
So
like sure. At least he gave a reason for losing that Pac-12 championship. He popped his hammy. What the fuck did you go 7-5 for?
But also, like, to me, like, if it was adversity, all of those reasons would be valid. Like, valid reasons for adversity if he still wasn't getting the most hype in the world.
Yes.
And wasn't the obvious number one pick. Like, what if
exactly.
You are, like, you have no pressure going like on draft day. Like, you know you're going number one. Like,
yes.
Like, if anything, like, you got more adversity just to not be so excited. Like, that's really the most, like, to me.
Like, you don't have to tell us that you're having a hard time. Like, you're supposed to be the guy who's having the easiest time doing all of this.
It's just like I said, I'm not going to say he doesn't face any adversity, but I don't know, like, I would have to go back and look at, other college quarterbacks. And I'm like, like, there are quarterbacks that, maybe there's a quarterback on my shirt that was getting called other positions coming into the NFL. To me, that's a lot more adversity than being the obvious number one pick.
Yeah.
Like
Lamar, like Caleb won Heisman last year.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me a flashback. Caleb won Heisman last year, is coming into this year off a bad season and is still projected number one. Lamar won his sophomore year, the Heisman, had a good year the next year, and then got drafted 32nd?
32nd.
32nd, the last pick.
Yeah.
So, Caleb's in a fucking phenomenal spot. He's got nothing to complain about. If he wants to go play another year in college and finish his fucking year or whatever the fuck, finish his fucking college career, go right ahead. Don't care.
Call me crazy, but like I think like, and him and his father is doing it to him.
Uh-huh.
Shador has more adversity. Like with the with with the
Shador has more pressure, yes.
The pressure, adversity, I think they're very.
That's kind of what we're talking about.
I think they're hand in hand. It's like
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's like if you haven't faced pressure, you haven't faced adversity. Either way, like speaking of Deion, I want to bring Deion. Deion has something to do with Caleb Williams, and there's something about Deion and the weather. Deion doesn't understand the weather at all. He says that he doesn't think Caleb will succeed because Chicago is cold. He said he was like,
and he does want his kids to go and play.
Well, yeah, he already said he wants to, he wants Shador to play somewhere warm, and that it doesn't get cold until the season ends in Colorado. Okay,
I'm gonna be completely honest. New England or Boston or Foxborough is more north than Chicago.
Okay, that's funny that you say that. I have a couple other examples.
Brett Favre, maybe.
I mean, we've been watching the Chiefs build a dynasty, playing in some of the coldest playoff games we've seen
ever. Well, people got frostbite from that playoff game.
Patrick came from Texas Tech. Pretty warm.
Pretty warm.
It's pretty warm there. The 18-1 Patriots Must have been pretty warm that year in 2007 when
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
like
16-0.
I was
Yeah,
really hot in '07 and when the
it must
Patriots
have been blaringly hot.
like it was a weird year.
Yeah,
Like it was a solar eclipse all year and the Rays were
and
just
then there was that game in the snow against Tennessee when it was 56-0 Patriots. That's weird.
um
How
uh
weird is that?
Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. I mean, definitely threw a lot of warm footballs in Green Bay.
Jim Kelly, maybe 4 straight Super Bowls playing in one of the coldest places there is.
Easy. But yeah, it's like you got one of you got Aaron Rodgers being, fresh out of Cali. Also Tom Brady, don't forget that.
No, that was the first guy,
Which I
bro.
mean, technically Michigan, but he Tom
He's a
Brady
Cali
Tom Brady grew up throwing a football in
in
in, in the warm weather.
Palo Alto or whatever the fuck he's from.
And same thing as Aaron Rodgers, and then he goes to Green Bay and still is able to throw some of the most beautiful balls we've ever seen. We
Yeah,
watched
no. Why we're talking about weather when it comes to football? If anything, playing in a cold place helps.
it's. I mean, I'll say if you're
Being
out,
used to a cold place.
if you're used to it. Now, if you're the Dolphins, you might struggle, but
Well, or if you're anybody and then you're playing a day game in Miami
mhm,
when they make sure that the sideline is as hot as
hot, yeah,
possible.
yeah, because
The sun is
that's
shining
fair.
direct. Yeah,
That's
that's fair.
fair.
Let's make it 120 on their sideline and 85 on ours. That sounds
Yeah, let's give fans heat exhaustion, but
exactly.
which I'm not saying fuck the people that got frostbite. Like I'm saying we should protect people from
Yeah,
frostbite, protect people from
exactly.
sunburn.
Because
Like
it was a big deal when
like
it was too fucking cold
yeah,
outside
but if
to play in
when the
Buffalo.
Dolphins make it scorching hot, have a blast,
Fuck
do
'em. Who
whatever you want to do.
cares?
Um,
Who
Peyton
cares?
Manning, like half a neck left, went and threw for 5,000 yards in Denver.
In Denver, yeah.
Um, but then you got like nice.
Well, you also have Deion Sanders, who is currently in Boulder, Colorado.
That's true, but then you have nice warm places. You
Yeah.
got. I mean, what's the running joke of like the NFL? How bad Dallas is, and how much,
Mhm.
how not successful they have been, or unsuccessful they've been. Um,
They got 5?
Pretty nice warm air conditioned stadium, or pretty nice air conditioned stadium in
Yep.
Texas, warm in Texas.
How
Miami,
many Super Bowls do they have? 5?
five, five Adam Johnson,
Who has 6? Pats,
Steelers.
Steelers.
Um,
5, Cowboys, Niners.
but I mean Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville. I mean hot ass Florida. I mean they really run the league in hot.
In terms of being hot, yes.
No. I'm saying they're really really good because they're in warm cities, right, Devin?
No.
No,
Actually, no.
they're not because it
Actually,
doesn't
none of them
fucking
have
matter.
won
Like
since
you go to any other
2020. Before that,
like
02.
that fucking logic. It's like, yeah, well, in that case, so Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr should have no problems in their domes next season. Like,
Well, Kirk wasn't a dome.
absolute. Well,
But,
okay, but that's what I'm saying. So Kirk was only good because he was in a dome.
yeah,
That's the only
exactly.
reason.
Because
Kirk.
it's warmer than a
That's
dome.
the only reason he went to Atlanta because he can't play in the cold. He has to play in an air
Or the
condition.
heat.
He has to play in an air
He
condition.
can't play in either,
He has to play in
actually.
an air conditioned environment. But no, I don't. The weather.
If Caleb doesn't succeed, it could either be his fault or it could be the Bears organization. Both of those are by far the most plausible things that are possible. But the weather will be, in my opinion, an absolute non-factor.
I would like to believe that no matter what scrutiny we've given Caleb Williams, that he's gonna be good enough to handle the cold in Chicago.
Does nail polish help with like freezing fingers?
Maybe if you do like hot or like a
What if you put icy hot on your nails?
yeah like icy
Yeah.
hot, like so it like keeps your fingertips warm. He might see he might know
Ooh.
something we don't.
What if you like put what's that stuff from the hand warmers? You put that on your fingernails
There you go.
and then you gel coat over it.
I, I,
whatever that means.
I don't know. Deion Sanders. I hope he's a weatherman one day.